Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to the Gambia, His Excellency Tatsuo Arai, the protocols duly and respectfully observed. It is indeed a great occasion today. We are witnessing a partnership program between the Republic of the Gambia and Japan, which has been in the making for a long time, but only came to fruition in the new Gambia. The Japanese ambassador, His Excellency Arai, and his team have been working with the Ministry of Agriculture on what we call the Kennedy Round 2, or simply known as support to underprivileged farmers. And this support is done through an arrangement, and the funds collected are put in a revolving fund, otherwise known as a counterpart fund at the central bank. And in turn, the Ministry of Agriculture submits a project proposal to the Japanese government for utilization of these funds in support of the same farmers that were supported with subsidized food. Now, like I indicated, it is through the indefatigable and relentless efforts of this new Gambia, the regime of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and the recent trip that was made to Japan by Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Touré to the TICA program, where this activity became accelerated. I would not go into details, but just as a matter of introduction, I would like you to know that this is the background to the handing over of this equipment that we are doing today.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Madam Dr. Aissatou Touré, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan, Mr. Tatsuo Arai, good morning. I think I have to thank you very much for this support you are rendering to Gambia government. Under the able leadership of the President of the Republic of Gambia and our able Vice President, I am deeply honored and touched to welcome this very important person, Mr. Tatsuo Arai, the Japanese ambassador, who is here with us to witness the official handing over ceremony of this farming equipment and other assorted agricultural inputs. Her Excellency, we have a lot of farming equipment with us. All these equipments are purchased by the Japanese government. In fact, not only the equipment, but other inputs like vegetable seeds, fertilizer, to name few, and even animal drops. They are all available. All these are purchased by the Japanese government. Hence, the objective of the project is to increase production and the productivity of the key targeted agricultural value chain in line with the ANR policy, that's our agriculture policy, and the National Development Plan through the provision of equipment, materials, seeds, vegetables, groundnut, drops, and a vaccine geared towards improving livestock production and the productivity. As we are speaking at this very hour, this said project has delivered 100% of the project plan inputs, namely 50 power tillers and accessories, 10 pumping machines for rice production, 50 coarse grain milling machine, 15 milling machine for rice, 100 rice tracers aimed at addressing the post-harvest losses incurred in rice production. Her Excellency, all these equipment are needed by the women of the Gambia because they are the chief producers of rice in this country. 100 monopolies of various sizes, almost aimed at addressing the post-harvest losses incurred in rice production. 600 metric tons of fertilizer. High Excellency, this was the fertilizer available at the beginning of this rainy season. That's around May. It was the false fertilizer distributed across the country. So on that note, I think we have to thank the Japanese government. This is what they can do for the country if we are in need. I would like to assure you that this equipment we are about to hand over today will put in good use, since a sustainability mechanism in the form of a business model plan has been put in place. The implementation of this business model, Mr. Chairperson, will create jobs among the youths in both rural, urban, and the peri-urban communities, especially with the returnees. Your Excellency, after my countrywide tour and conducting a mid-season assessment of this state of rainy season, and given the erratic and inadequate rains at the beginning of the season due to climate change, we are submitting another proposal. That's the project proposal to utilize the KR2 counterpart funds currently lodged at the Central Bank of the Gambia for the purchase of more equipment, fertilizer, seeds, livestock drinking points, fencing materials for women vegetable gardeners, because every day we receive calls from these women. We don't have fence, we need water, so it means we need to assist these rural women so that at least they can do production on their gardens. Then the intensive livestock feeding gardens as a quick intervention and mitigation measures to assist Gambian farmers under your leadership. These livestock farmers also, every day we receive calls. We don't have drinking points for our animals. We don't have feeds for our animals. So it's important to establish some of these gardens so that to address those problems. On that note, I would like to thank the Japanese ambassador and also my own sister, the Vice President. Thank you very much.
Vice President Madame Touré and Her Excellency Minister Fabre and honorable ministers and all distinguished guests are among us to raise the importance of this ceremony. Since several years, Japan has offered to Gambia in a regular manner grants within its program support to underprivileged farmers and food assistance. And you know, these two types of cooperation generate a counterpart fund aimed at financing social-economic projects. The equipment supplied today have been purchased under the counterpart funds of both two programs for a total amount 109,500,000 Gambian dollars. It relates to Cees, fertilizers and agricultural equipment and others, which will be distributed to the Gambian farmers in various regions. The last few years, the cropping season was not important due to the lack of rains, and household food security was threatened. These materials will help to stimulate and increase the productivity in view of meeting the basic and urgent needs of the Gambian people, and therefore contributing to the enhancement of their well-being. Furthermore, agriculture is a key sector of the Gambian economy, and Japan is well aware that continued growth in this sector would make a major contribution to the social and economic development of the Gambia. That is why our country supports the efforts of the Gambia to develop the priority sector of agriculture and in this way contribute to the self-reliant efforts of the Gambian government for the achievement of the harmonious development of the country under the enlightened leadership of His Excellency President Adam Barrow. And also, the adequate use of the counterpart fund for relevant projects as this one is very efficient and effective for the socio-economic development of the country. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on another level, I wish to assure you of the commitment of Japan to the social and economic development of Africa, including the Gambia. Our country confirmed once more this commitment at the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 7, recently held in Japan in August, to which participated Her Excellency Madam Vice President Isatu Dure. The Japanese government showed one more time the important place given to Africa by announcing that the next TICAD 8 meeting will be held in Africa in 2022. I'd like to take this opportunity to say Japan is continuing to accompany the Gambia for its social and economic development in totally democratic manner. To conclude, I would like to express my wish that the cooperation we commemorate today would further strengthen the friendship and goodwill between Japanese people and Gambian people. Thank you very much for your attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Mr. Chairperson, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to the Gambia, Mr. Tatsuo Arai, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Honorable Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, senior government and project officials, representatives of the non-state actors, the alkalolus, the governors, the imams, ladies from the various villages to witness this, and our colleague, the team from Japan, as well as the Chinese team that are present here today, with all other protocols respectfully observed, appreciating the presence of the media and also our security forces. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome His Excellency, the Japanese Ambassador of the Gambia, Mr. Tatsuo Aral, and his delegation to the handing over ceremony of the KR2 procured agricultural equipment, materials, and input. By the same breath, I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion. The event follows a decade of inactivity due to the manner in which the KR project was managed by the previous government. I must observe quickly that the handing over of the various agricultural items assembled by the Japanese government could not have come at a better time than now. This is so, noting that the agriculture sector has commenced its transformation agenda to modernize agriculture in the country. Also, the project objectives match perfectly well with both the National Development Plan goals and the second generation Gambia National Agricultural Investment Plan. As we progress in shaping the new Gambia, the agenda for both government and stakeholders is transforming agriculture through mechanization for greater production and productivity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me shed more light on the KR and KR2 initiative. KR, which stands for Kennedy Round, came into being after World War II, when Bretton Woods of the World Bank pioneered a rural development strategy for developing countries. It was implemented when John F. Kennedy was the President of the United States of America. The Japanese government inherited this rural development module, which focuses on enhancing the input-output relationship for better productivity. The original objective was to intensify agricultural production and productivity in developing countries through the provision of critical agricultural inputs such as fertilizer, seeds, farming implements, and pesticides. KR2 has a slightly different approach. It is being implemented in the form of selling quality rice at a subsidized price to underprivileged Gambian farmers. The proceeds realized from the sales are then saved in a special account at the Central Bank of the Gambia. In brief, KR2 has a double-pronged approach. On one hand, it seeks to improve the nutritional status of underprivileged farmers. On the other hand, it is designed to utilize the proceeds from the sale of rice to prepare short and medium-term projects that are geared towards enhancing the production and productivity of crops and livestock value chains. Importantly, therefore, the approach is aimed at improving food security and income status while reducing undue labor for rural women farmers. All of these components qualify our underprivileged Gambian farmers as a deserving target group, which this government is really interested in supporting and giving and being empowered to be able to engage effectively in this project. Both the KR and KR2 approaches have now become household words in this country. Since its inception during the First Republic, KR has touched the lives of thousands of underprivileged farmers throughout the country. Hopefully, the impact will be felt in their produce and their livelihoods. To achieve this, we will endeavor to ensure that the items reach the target beneficiaries and that they are put to very good use. Already, a sustainability plan has been developed for the proper utilization and management of the entire project. Your Excellency, on behalf of my government and the farming community, I thank you, and through you, the government and people of Japan, for the immense support you have been providing to this country. In particular, please convey my heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency Prime Minister Abe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with joy that I now receive the KR2 equipment, materials, and inputs from His Excellency Ambassador Aral. Thank you very much.
Banco Gambia.